Hi Jayden. So this video is especially for you, buddy. So the rest of my kiddos, well, most of my kiddos, come into Google Meets, and so I'm able to share this with them, and I'm able to show them how to do all this stuff. But since you are not able to do that, Miss Acton has to make a special video for you. So this video goes through a slideshow that you are going to have access to, okay? And this slideshow is basically going to walk you through all the steps that your classmates are doing with Miss Acton in our live Google Meets every day, but you're just going to do this at home by yourself. You can get all this done in one night if you want, or you can do a little bit every single day. This just has to be done by November 1st. So you have quite a bit. You've got about 18 more days in, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure how many days are in October. So take your time. Please work hard on this. Don't rush through it. And it's meant to be fun. So please, when you're working on it and you find yourself being bored, dozing off, then stop, take a break, and come back and do it the next day or a few hours later. Okay. So let's get started. So we're going to be doing a question comic strip. And this is for a backpack artifact. I hope you remember what those were from your school last year. So backpack artifact is this thing called our digital backpack. And it is something that's going to travel with you all through your school in JCPS. Dr. Polio, our superintendent, was the one who started this. So my boss's 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 boss. So the big guy up top is the one that created this. And every single kiddo in JCPS, every single kiddo that goes to school in Louisville has to do this backpack. So what happens is you upload these artifacts, these projects, into your backpack, and then they'll travel with you to third grade and then to fourth grade. And then when you become a senior, you have this enormous list of projects that you've done all the way from second grade all the way up to you're a senior in high school getting ready to go to college. And you can see how you've grown as a reader, as someone in math, just as a student. So that's what a backpack is. So this isn't something that you're just going to do and we're going to forget about it. This is something you're going to do, and then Miss Acton is going to help you put this into your digital backpack, and it will stay with you the rest of your time in JCPS. So please take this seriously. This is something that's going to be with you for the rest of the time that you are in school until you go to college or go off and get a job, okay? So what is a comic? So I gave you kind of an example of a comic. I tried to put something funny, cute, but also something that you kiddos would understand. So we've got Mooch and Earl are their names, and they are they're mutts. They're a cat and a dog, and they're actually brother and sister. They live in the same house. And Earl is digging, and Mooch is asking what is he digging for. So what you doing, Earl? And I hope you notice the speech bubbles. Those will be in your comics as well. Sorry, my little girl's playing with her. I got her little basketball, a little Minnie Mouse basketball. So that's what she's playing with right now. So it says, "What you doing, Earl?" And then Earl says, "I buried a treasure here a while back, and I'm trying to find it." Ooh, treasure. So Earl says, Mooch, the cat says, "A treasure? I can dig that." And so cats get a shovel because they don't have the claws to be able to dig. So he gets a shovel and he starts digging, and he digs lower and he says, "Oof, phew, whew." So he's getting tired. Ugh, the only thing down here is an old bone. Then it says, "Whimper, whimper." So it says, "Oh no." So the dog's excited about his treasure, which is a bone. But by the looks of it, do you think the cat's excited about the treasure? No. So he says, "I hope you're treasuring that." And he says, "No, no." So he's gnawing on the bone, gnawing on it. So it was a treasure to the dog, but it was not a treasure to the cat, who did pretty much all of the work to try to get that bone. Okay. So that's basically what a comic is. Okay. And in this slideshow, I'm not going to go through it now because you can do it on your own. When you go through this slideshow, if you click on this part right here that says "What is a comic?" a video will show, and it'll give you more of an explanation of what a comic is. But I'm just going to go through it really fast because I know you're a bright kiddo, and I know that if you need that help, you know how to click on that and be able to watch that video. So what do you need in a comic? You need dialogue, which is this stuff right here. Speech bubbles with characters talking. That's what dialogue is. It needs a visual image, which is a fancy word for a picture. See these pictures? It needs to go in order. So these are what all these boxes are. So you don't start in this box and then read this box. It won't make sense. You have to go in order of the boxes, and it has to be some kind of funny, okay? It's got to have some kind of humor to it, or else nobody will be excited about reading it if it's just a plain old boring story, okay? All right, so here's what you are going to be doing, but Miss Acton did it on her side. So the first step that all the kiddos in your classroom did and what you're going to be doing is filling this out. And so this is Miss Acton's that she filled out. So I'm kind of modeling it for you. Who are the characters in your story or in your comic? So in my comic, I have Rowdy and a girl, and the girl has her dog, and her dog's named Rowdy. And then I have a boy in my comic. So the girl and the boy don't have names, and that's okay. Where does your story take place? In a park where dogs can play. And actually, that is messed up. That says where does can play. It needs to be DOGS, where dogs can play. What is the problem in your comic? The boy throws the dog's bone too far and the dog gets lost. And the little girl's very sad. But how does this problem get fixed? The girl gets the dog, or sorry, the boy gets the dog and puts a leash on him and brings the dog back to the girl. So you've got a problem that happens and then a happy ending. You've got characters and you've got where your story's supposed to take place. So that's the first thing that you need to do. And this slide will be in this slideshow. It should be the second to last one for you to fill out. And then next, you're going to do your plan. What's going to happen in the beginning, the middle, and the end. So in the beginning, a girl and a boy at a park. The girl has a dog who has a bone. So we're in the park. I've got a girl who has a dog. I know that slide keeps getting in the way. That has a dog and a boy, and the dog has a bone. And yeah, you can see the bone. Oh my gosh, I hate that thing. Wait for it to go away. So then the dog has a bone that he's chasing. Then the middle of the story, the girl asks the boy to throw the bone because the boy can throw a lot further than she can. The dog chases the bone. The little girl cries. She thinks the dog is lost. The little girl's sad, and the boy's throwing the bone. I know that's just a ball, but I couldn't find an image on the internet that matched that. And he's throwing the bone, and the dog's chasing, and the dog disappears, and the girl's freaking out about it, and she's crying. The boy brings back the dog. He keeps the dog safe by putting a leash on him. So the dog brings the dog back. The boy brings the dog back with a leash on, and the girl is happy now. So that's kind of my story. So what's going to happen is once you do your first slide, Miss Acton's going to kind of read through and say like, oh, his story takes place at a beach. So I'll find a picture of a beach. Oh, went too far. Clicked. Of a beach like this one right here. And so in your first beginning, you would put your setting right there because yours might not take place at a park, so you can't use this picture of a park, but yours might take place in a forest. Yours might take place in the backyard of your house. So Miss Acton will have an image for you to fill in there too, okay? If you want to do that on your own, if you know how to put images into slides, then you can go ahead and do it on your own, but just most of our kiddos don't know how to do that, right? Then, after you figure out your characters, your setting, your problem and solution, and then you do your beginning, middle, and end, now you're ready to actually start your comic book. So I took all that information that I collected on those pages and I created my comic. So it says, will you throw the bone for my dog, Rowdy? Here's a little girl, here's her dog with the bone, and there's the boy. And I made a background that kind of looks like a park. I could add a blue sky in the back. I could add a slide and all that stuff. I could always add more detail. Do not throw it too far. He can get lost. Sure, I'm a really good thrower. And then I did little like motion saying the bone's going phew, flying away, and the dog's going phew, running away. And then the little girl's sad. The boy threw the stick so far, Rowdy will never come back. And she's sad, she's crying. Please do not cry. Here is Rowdy. I even put a collar on him so he cannot get lost again. And then actually, I noticed a mistake that I made. So I need to go back and check that out. So I put a collar, but really I meant to put a leash. So this is a leash. So I actually need to change that. So I see a mistake that I made that I need to fix. So I added a title up here too. I added these images were just Google images, but you can draw if you want to try to draw your own animals and your own characters in there. You can. That's completely up to you. So now I'm going to show you how you do that, okay? Or not right now. So this is my comic, and then what makes it second grade learning is that you're going to take this comic strip and you're going to create some who, what, when, where, why, and how questions about it. That was the standard we kind of worked on at the beginning of the year. So I created some who, what, when, where, why, and how questions about my story, and you're going to do the same thing. Who is really good at throwing things? What does Rowdy really love in this comic? He really loves the bone. When did the little girl cry? She cried when Rowdy got lost. Where did the little boy go after he threw the bone? He went after the dog to bring him back to his little girl, his owner. Why is the boy the hero in this story? He found the dog and brought him back to the girl, made the girl happy. How would you make Rowdy the dog safe? I would make sure that we're in a place that is fenced in. That way, if he does run after something, he can't escape. He always stays in a fence. So those are just some examples of how I took my comic and made some who, what, when, where, and why, and how questions. You're going to have to do that too. So this is your page. I put your name up at the top. So on this page of your Google Slides, as you're going down, and I believe this is on page slide 7, you're gonna actually fill this out. Okay, so you're gonna type in who your characters are, and I only left a spot for 1 and 2, but you can add as many as you want. Try not to go over 4 because there's not a lot of boxes to your comic, and there's not enough speech bubbles for 4 characters to even talk. So try to keep it between 2 and 3. Don't do too many. But in this box number 1, Miss Acton put a girl and her dog. So those are my 2 characters. And then the second one was the boy. So if you want to say the princess and the prince, and then number 2 is the scary dragon. So you can fit 3 in there if you want. I don't care if you put 2 in the first one or 2 in the second one. Where does this story take place? Tell me what the setting is up here in this box. What is the problem of your comic? Tell me that. And how is your problem fixed? Okay, so that's definitely something I want you to try to get done today, tonight, whatever it is that you're working on this. And then this is the beginning, middle, and end. So these top boxes are where you're going to type, and this bottom box is where you're going to add images so that you get an idea of what your story is going to look like. So if you fill this one out, tomorrow, tonight, whenever, and I see that you've done it, if you've put that your characters are a squirrel and a raccoon and a creepy old man, guess what Miss Acton's gonna do? I'm gonna come to your slide and I'm going to, over here on the side right here, I'm going to Google squirrel, find an image, a picture of a squirrel, and I'm gonna put it right here for you to put in any of these boxes that you need. I'm going to find a raccoon picture. I'm going to find a crazy old man picture. If your setting's the beach, I'm going to find a picture of a beach and put it right here so that you can use those pictures, images to help you. Now, if you make it to this page and you're like, I don't have time to wait on her. I want to get started. I'm excited about this. Let's keep going. And you know how to put images into a Google slide, then you can do that. You do not have to wait on me. But some of our kiddos don't know how to do that. So that's why I'm going to do it for you if I get to that part and see that you haven't yet. Okay. And then the last part is the Jamboard, okay? So this is the part where you actually create your Google Slides. So when you click on Jamboard, it's going to take you to a separate page. So it takes us to Jamboard. And this Jamboard is completely yours. You do not have to worry about messing up somebody else's work. So the first page I have on here is Miss Acton's actual comic. So I hope you recognize this story. And actually, while we're on here, I'm going to click the eraser button. I'm going to, oh, I don't want to erase the leash. I want the text box feature. And I'm going to click my text box right here, and I'm going to change collar to leash, because that's how he kept Rowdy safe. Put a leash on him so he does not get lost again. Perfect. So Miss Acton basically just Googled girl and found a girl image, and then I just made her bigger and smaller depending on how close or how far away I wanted her in each picture. I did the same thing with the boy, and then I made him as big or as small as I need him. I did the same thing with the dog, and I did the same thing with the bone. And then these green in the background and the black down here, that's just me using the pen tool. Then I changed it to the marker to make it a little bit thicker, and I picked green. But you can see there's other colors that you can pick too. There's also a highlighter and a paintbrush that look a little bit different, so experiment with that, okay? So here's basically how you're going to build it. So let's move to number 2. I don't know what you're going to do with your story, so we're just going to pretend. So we're going to pretend that Miss Acton is doing a story about a squirrel. So you're going to go to this add image. Now, you can either upload something from your computer, but there's a good chance you do not have a picture of a squirrel, and that's okay. Or you can go to Google image search. And it goes right here and it tells you to Google something. So I'm going to Google squirrel. And it's probably going to bring up real pictures of squirrels. Now, you can use real pictures of squirrels if you want, but most comic strips do not have real pictures of squirrels. So to change it to kind of like cartoon, like animated pictures, if you type in clip art after it, clip art, and it's one word, CLIPART. Click it, it will change your squirrels to actual pictures of squirrels. Oh, he's funny looking. Let's see if we can find. Oh, I like him. He's cute, but he looks pretty realistic. Hmm. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling that guy. But you can scroll through here and see which one looks the best to you. Whichever you think would be the best for your story. Maybe in your story, your squirrel is mean and angry. A lot of these pictures will not work. Maybe your squirrel is really excited. That one would probably work. Maybe your squirrel is just chilling. Most of these would work, okay? So I think I'm going to stick with, let's do this guy. So you're going to click on him with a checkbox, and then you're going to push select. And then it'll drop it down into there. Like, alrighty, so I've got my squirrel. Let's say that my squirrel, he's in a tree. Now I can either go to my image again, and I can Google search tree. And remember, if I just type in tree, it'll show me real pictures of trees. But if I say tree clip art, then it'll give me drawings or cartoon versions of trees. So I can either do that, or if I want to add my own touch to it or show my own experience in my plug it in, then you can draw it. So I go over here and grab crowns, draw black. I can do the tree trunk, and then most trees have, oh, not blue leaves, have green leaves. So I can draw the green leaves on there. So there's my tree, and my clip art tree is still trying to load. Still trying to figure out if it wants to be on here or not. So it's still low, and we're going to move you over to the side, buddy. We'll use you here in a minute. So now I have my scene. So now I need to put something in the speech bubble for my squirrel. So I go down here to the text. Now I can grab one of my writing utensils, and I can write it in there if I want to. Hey, but it's just really hard to write nice and neat on here. You know, if we were in class, Miss Acton would, print something like this off for you, and you would write with your pencil. This is the closest thing that we can get, and it just doesn't look as good. But the good news is that Jamboard has a text box feature. So you click on the text box, then you click where you want it, and you can start typing. Hey, I want to climb that tree because that's what squirrels like to do. And then it's kind of small, so if you click on it again, you can actually expand it and make it a little bit bigger. So that's nice and neat. Oh, and I spelled that wrong, so I click on it again, add that A in there, and everything looks good. Hey, I want to climb that tree. And I think this is a sign that I'm not going to use my clip art that I found. I'm just going to keep with my hand-drawn tree. But if it starts to bother me, then I know I can switch it. I have that option. So I'm trying to find all the tools that you can do. There's also shapes that you can add. So if you click on this, there's all kinds of different shapes. So maybe if I wanted to add a sunshine to my picture right there, if I click on it, I can make it yellow and make the outline yellow, and then add that up there. Now I've got a nice sunshine. I can do the order, so I can put it behind something. So the tree's in front of it. I've got my sunshine in there. This really is important to you. It's a laser, and it's kind of what teachers use to show their students something when they're sharing this Jamboard, so you really don't have to worry about that. Again, that's the adding the images where you can do your Google search. This is called the post-it note or sticky note feature. It's kind of like a post-it note. If you wanted to add more color, so let's say instead of saying that in the speech bubble, hey, I want to climb that tree, to climb that tree, you could make it colorful if you wanted to. I like blue. Blue's my favorite color. And I've made it into a sticky note, and then I can make it a little bit bigger. The only problem is it won't really fit in these very well unless you make it pretty small, then it'll fit in there. But if you want to make the sticky notes in there instead of just the regular text, it makes it a little more colorful. That's your option. Miss Acton doesn't care as long as it's not too sloppy. Like right now, that's pretty sloppy. I'm like, do I read what's in front of it? Do I read what's behind it? So you need to decide and kind of stick with that. There's also the erasing tool. So let's say I really do not like the leaves on my tree. I click the eraser, and then I just follow the line, and it will erase everything that I've drawn. Now, it only erases the stuff that you've drawn. It doesn't erase any of the other stuff like the shapes or the Google Images search, the post-it notes, or the text. It won't erase any of that stuff. How you erase that stuff is you just click on it, and you click on these three dots, and you can either copy it, delete it, or change the order that it's in. So I can delete it and bring it back. But I also want to show you the duplicate. So that just means it makes a copy of it. So let's say I duplicate it. I want my squirrel to be on this page too. I'm going to duplicate him and make him a little bit bigger. And then now I have two speech bubbles where I can show that he's saying two different things. I'm going to go back and do my tree. Branches a little bit nicer. I'm going to move nice and slow this time. Oh, yeah, much better. A lot nicer. I can add some grass down here at the bottom of it. Yeah, I can put a blue sky back there if I want. Whatever you're feeling. So those are all the tools that you can use, and this is basically how you make your comic. So this one is actually Miss Acton's. I put this on here to show you how to find it. This one is the original one that we started with, and Miss Acton fixed a part of hers right there. This is the one that she modeled for you, how to use all these tools, but then the third one is nice and blank because it is yours. We're going to put Jayden in here. Let's make it nice and big so you can see it. So this one is yours for you to start making yours. And you can click on this and change your title. This is Jayden's comic. Make that bigger. Oh, wow. I really messed up comic. C-O-M-I-C. One M, not a capital C in the middle of that. This is Jayden's comic, so please change that. Don't make that your title to your comic. So again, you're going to go in order of those Google slides that Miss Acton just showed you, and I can actually exit out of this so I can show you what it looks like. So this is what you're looking at. So Miss Acton went through all of these slides with you, and now it's your job to fill in this one. All you have to do is click in these boxes. So let's say you do want squirrel to be one of your characters, squirrel and fox. And then your second character maybe is the bad character, can be the mean grizzly bear is your other character. And then over here you click that, where's your setting, it's in the forest, yada yada yada. So you click in these boxes and fill them in. And then whenever you get to this one, the same thing. So you click in this box and you can type in the beginning of my story, the squirrel, yada yada yada, and you add your detail in there. So these are yours to use to fill those in. So I'm going to erase what I added on here because these are yours. So you're going to fill in those boxes to kind of get a plan of what your comic's going to be. And then after you get your plan, then you go to your Jamboard. See, the Jamboard's the last slide down here. Stop following me. The Jamboard's the last slide down here, and that's where you're actually going to start creating your comic and finding those images and writing the text, what they're saying in their speech bubble, all right? So I hope that this video helped you understand what you have to do. I hope these Google Slides help you in what you're supposed to be doing. Remember, just start with number 1 and go down to number 2 and just follow the slides and what it shows you how to do, and watch this video first to help you understand what is going on and then get started. If you have any questions, please tell Mom to call or text Miss Acton so I can help you. Good luck. Have fun with this. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. All right, bud? See ya.